Okay, this is Jacob Schmitt with deerhuntingschool.com. I'm just sitting here looking at some public property, some wetland public property, and just going to kind of give a few tips on it and things like that. The property is about center of the screen here. It's kind of odd shaped, and if you watch my cursor, I'll kind of draw out about the, somewhat of the property line. See my cursor here. If you run down, it runs down this road here a little ways, and it kind of cuts up and kind of cuts over, something like this here. It's kind of odd shaped. It comes down here somewhere like this. I think the corner of it's like here, and then I think it kind of runs down, something like that. And there's a little piece that sticks off out over this area, and there I think there's a little section out over here somewhere. But the main thing is this is wetland. You've got a lake right here. Looks like it's probably either grown up with a lot of algae or some grasses and stuff in it. This picture is in August, so definitely should have some beginning of August. So definitely has got all the plants are still really growing well into the growing season. Okay, so the first things I look for, we've got wetlands, so you know that once you get some water and stuff, all these lower areas are going to be full of water, or very swampy. Deer will get into them, especially if the temperature, they'll get into them in temperatures you wouldn't think that they will get in them and stay if the hunting pressure gets bad. The deer will stay in them all day long in very cold weather. I've seen them stay in swamps stay in the water below freezing temperatures all day long. I have seen that. So they can tolerate some wet, cold weather. They have a very thick winter coat, and it insulates them real well. And actually, if you think about it, if the temperature is 32 degrees outside, and the deer are in their feet are in the water or whatever, if the temperature is below 32 and the water is not frozen, then actually the water is actually warmer than the air temperature. So I don't know how a deer's coat protects it against the water. I know that a lot of the clothes and stuff we have, the water soaks in and then conducts our heat out of our body very fast. But I do know that deer will stay in the water in very cold weather. Now, if I were going to hunt it, depending on what I'm trying to look for, if I'm looking, for isolated areas, I'm obviously going to look for some islands, some high spots out into these marshes and stuff. And as I zoom in onto this, you can actually see the trails all in and out of this swamp. And I just done that and noticed that. There's trails all in and out of there. I imagine many of them are deer trails. In and out of there. Now, as this fills up with water, a lot of these deer and stuff, they will stay out in the water more than people realize. Now, obviously, if it's over their head, they can't. Then they have to get towards some of these higher islands. But areas that I would be interested in are the swamp islands, like you see here, these high spots. And I don't know if you want to take away, depending on what you're actually trying to hunt. If you're just trying to get out and kill a deer, but that's just my style of hunting. If I was hunting this area, I'm going to be looking for these areas that no one's going to go. This here kind of looks like a 2-track or something that runs down through here. I'm not sure if that's an old road. I wouldn't imagine. I think it's probably trails. Definitely looks like there's a lot of trails in and out of here. You can see them from aerial photo. But this should be fairly thick. Okay, you've got areas like this here. You need to check, stuff like that. See if people are hunting it. If they're not hunting it, that's areas of interest. Stuff like that. You've got this island here out in the middle of it. you've got this huge island here, brush island here, probably some trees. You've got an island here. You've got an island right here. I'm going to check areas like that. You've got an island here. Them are things that I'm going to check. There's islands all over. I mean, there's one here. You know, I could sit here and point them out all day. There's one here, here. I'm going to check them. Them are areas of interest. Let me zoom back out and get my grounds again where we're at. Okay. Now, the other things I'm going to check, you know, like I said, the islands. Here's one. Any high spots and stuff. Some of these islands you can probably hunt with a tree stand as these larger trees. You can probably hunt them with a tree stand, and then as you get into the actual swamp, if it's dry, you know, you're obviously not going to want to hunt in the swamp if it's wet. But you know, the deer they will go through there and move through there as long as it's not, you know, as long as they can get through there, they're going to use it. Now, as it gets, you know, extremely cold, I would imagine, you know, that, you know, they're going to, you know, get out of the water. I would imagine. Down here in Arkansas, we don't have brutal cold weather like y'all do up here in this state. I'm not going to even mention the state, but it is a northern state. Y'all have brutal cold weather where we don't. I mean, we have periods that's very cold. But it doesn't last very long. But I have literally seen deer stay out in water below freezing all day long. Now we're talking, you know, upper 20s, very low 30s, you know, right below freezing. We're not talking, you know, close to zero or nothing like that. I mean, obviously the water's going to freeze. It gets that cold. So we're talking close to zero. I mean, close to freezing. Close to the freezing mark. I have seen the deer stay out in the water all day long. It doesn't bother them for some reason. Then they come out in the evening to feed or whatever. But me, you know, like I said, I'm going to look for areas like that. I would imagine, you know, as far north as you are, you're going to get some brutal cold weather. It's going to push the deer out of that water sometimes. And, you know, the stuff's going to freeze and things. But I still think they'll pass through the water. So I think, you know, a lot of the bedding areas, if the hunting pressure gets bad, they're going to be islands, you know, in and out of there where they can get out where it's dry. And if the water freezes, they're going to find dry spots and things like that. Now, the other areas I would be interested in, other than in the swamp, are the funnels and things coming in and out of the agriculture areas, because there's a lot of agriculture going on around this. Okay, so you want to look for funnels that the deer are traveling in and out, and there's several I noticed. The property boundary is close right in here somewhere. You're gonna have to find that out, and you know, look for funnels and stuff. I mean, this is a funnel. This is a point that runs out into these ag fields as these deer are coming. And this here, if deer are here, okay, and they're coming up and they don't want to walk right through the middle of this field. Okay, if they're going to stay in the wood line, they're going to travel this route. Now, they may go this way, but they're more apt to funnel into this area, right in this area, okay? And I believe that is part of the public land, okay? But them are things that you want to look for there. There's a couple right in here. These deer are going to follow these tree lines and stuff. If this here, these deer are going to follow these tree lines back in. Now this here's, I think, is getting back onto that public land. Okay, so as you follow it around, there's some more funnels here, and I think this is right on the edge right here. Okay, you have this patch of woods. This right here is a funnel that's running and pushing them deer down through there. Now, it's a very good funnel, depending on where the property line is, because you've got a river or creek or something running down through here too, which is also more of an even funnel. So if the deer are on this side of the creek, they're more apt to come this area in here. Now, the problem is that I see is this here looks like it's probably very thick, and as I zoom in on it, you can see you can see trails right through the middle of this. Okay, so what it's telling me is that the deer are probably using this. They're not having to use the funnel. But deer that are out in here, okay, that are coming back into here, they're going to cut this corner. They're going to use this instead of, if it's in the daytime, instead of walking right out through the middle of this field, they're more apt to take this area here, okay, and maybe cut that corner or something and stay close here. Now it looks like this is probably a water here, so this area here, you know, them are things that you want to look for on this property here. You have a patch of woods here, depending on, you know, what type of trees they are and stuff. And actually this comes down into here too. This property comes down into here somewhere. You may look on the edge of these ag fields and stuff and see if you've got funnels and stuff. Depending on the property line here, yeah, I don't see well-defined funnels other than maybe here. But the problem is on this public land, this stuff is going to be very thick all over the place. So, you know, you can look for funnels. Them are going to be good places if you can find where deer are coming in and out of these agriculture fields and using them funnels to come into this thick area. Once they get into this thick area, they'll feel comfortable to walk more than anywhere. As the pressure comes in, though, I'm definitely going to be looking at these islands and stuff out in the middle of this. And, you know, it may be tough to get to them, and depending on what you're hunting for, that can be good or bad. I mean, as far as, you know, whether the work is worth what you're going in after. You know, that's what it is, because it's going to take some work to get in here. Looks like a heck of a duck hunting place, which I'm not a duck hunter. I've been a couple times, but looks like a heck of a duck hunting place, habitat. Looks like some good deer hunting habitat too, because a lot of that water will deter a lot of people from getting back in there. Especially you get, I mean, if you look here, okay, you notice this island here, it is surrounded by this water way all the way around it. As that water picks up, that island's surrounded. Here's another one here. This one's surrounded by that. As water fills this up, that is completely surrounded. Okay, if this fills up with water, you know, areas like this here, same way. If this fills up with water, this island is surrounded, and you see the deer trails in it. My goodness, they're all over the place. Deer trails. You know, find some of these conversion points where a lot of these trails and stuff run together, where you can get a stand. See, like here, you've got a trail running here. You've got trail running here, you've got deer trail running here, and they're all coming together in one spot here. You know, them are areas that may be good. You know, may be tough to get in there, but you know, depend if you're willing to do the work. This looks like a pretty good place. Looks like there's a lot of deer using it. Here's another one of them islands that may be surrounded completely by water. That's very tough to get to. You may have to have a pair of waders, a little canoe, or you know, something. I'm not sure, you know, what it looks like and how it is to get in there. You know, I think we already talked about this one being surrounded. Get out towards this lake, obviously water, year round probably. Actually, let's scroll back. Matter of fact, I just want to scroll back and see if we can't find a really wet period where this would be a lot of water in here, to see if we can see the water. June, I don't know. Let's see. It's we're getting close. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Here's maybe. No. That's still August. Hey, I'm trying to find a period where the water is usually, you know, you have more water. Now, obviously that picture we can't tell, but you know what the area looks like, how much water and stuff gets in it. If you know, when these places fill up with water and stuff, that water, that wetlands is going to deter a lot of people out of these areas, especially getting back in there. It's going to keep a lot of the people hunting on the outskirts and stuff like that. And then if duck hunters come in, duck hunters may push the deer, around a little bit, from areas that they are particularly hunting, and push them into more of these wooded areas and stuff, like these islands. They may, if the deer are out here and duck hunters come in here and hunt, do duck hunting, and they start shooting and carrying on and setting up decoys and stuff, they're going to push deer out of here up on into areas like this. So you can use them to your advantage. Here's another one of them islands. You want to be in there, before the if you've got duck season, stuff like that, guys. That's things that you have to think about. Just because they're not deer hunting, they may not be deer hunting, they're still putting pressure on the deer. If you get 4 or 5 guys that come in here and set up on this water hole here, okay, to duck hunt, and wherever they set up, I don't know how the area actually looks without walking it, but I'm imagining it's very wet. It looks like a very wetland area. So I'm imagining a lot of it gets under, in water a lot of the time, especially if you have a lot of water. But anyways, if you have, 5 or 6 duck hunters, a group of duck hunters come in here and they set up on this water hole, and they're blasting and setting up decoys, and duck hunters are loud. They're not quiet like deer hunting. They make a lot of noise and stuff. Any deer that are right around here are going to be pushed back into this heavy cover. Here, into this island here, stuff like that. If you're there before them and you find that the escape routes and stuff that these deer are taking to get out of here and things, you can be here before, and as them guys come in and stuff, they're going to push them deer back out into here, and a lot of the deer are going to spend their times in areas like this. One thing, this is a big area. If you get a small area like this, like this particular island here, which is connected to the large island here, but let's just say like this island. This is a much smaller island, okay, if you've got water and stuff around it. But if you're on this island and the deer are pushed onto that island, as them deer move and stuff during the day, your chances of intercepting them deer are much greater. Like this little piece here. If you've got deer move in on this little piece, you're pretty well going to see the deer the entire time. When you get into these big areas, here's a pretty good size area, but it's not connected to nothing like this one is connected to this big area here. Not saying don't hunt this, but them are just ideas you need to think about. Like this one here, it's not really huge. It's surrounded by a lot of this mucky wetlands, and this is probably a little bit higher elevated spot, I would imagine. Okay, and then if you get a lot of water, this is going to fill up with water a little bit, and this isn't, and you may get duck hunters out here, whatever, but the deer, they may come in here to feed and stuff, and they're going to have a lot of food out in here as well. But them are just things to think of. Look for these isolated little islands, stuff like that. Think of other hunting seasons going to come in, because I would imagine you're going to have some duck hunting going on here. At least we do in Arkansas, which they say is the duck capital of the world, but I don't know if I believe it. There's a lot of ducks, but I think there's a lot of ducks in other states too from other things that I've actually seen when I started looking at it. So anyways, so I would imagine there's a lot of that kind of waterfowl hunting and stuff goes on that's going to put pressure on the deer. You've got to think how that's going to affect the deer. What's it going to do? If you've got deer out here into this wetland area, it's going to push them out. I actually hunt an area that a lot of duck hunting goes on. It's more of a timber hunting. It's all wooded area, and it floods, and the deer will be out in the water, and as the duck hunters and stuff move in, it pushes the deer out of the water up onto the land and stuff. It makes the deer hunting actually better during that time. A lot of people complain because they're shooting and making a bunch of noise and stuff. But if you know how to hunt and use other hunters, even whether they're deer hunters, duck hunters, squirrel hunters, turkey hunters, whatever. I'm just saying bear hunters, whatever kind of hunting they're doing. If you know how to use them to your advantage, and think about that, it can really help you out. So I think this here give you some tips, some ideas, kind of point you in some directions to go. And guys, anybody that's hunting areas like this here, you know, this is a good video to you know, kind of look for key things. And this is a wetland, very seriously wetland. You know, very wet. This is going to be a lot of grown up, grassy, you know, brushy kind of stuff. These are going to be, you know, some hardwoods, different kind of trees on these islands and things. A lot of times this is going to be underwater. There's going to be water and stuff all in here at different times of the year. You know, if it's wet, it's going to be water. If it's really dry, it's probably going to be a lot of dry spots. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it helped the guy that had asked me about the area. I hope it helps you out and points you in some directions. Guys, I want to recommend my online courses. They specifically cover certain things that are you know, key, especially properties like this here. If you're hunting you know, public land, guys, I have several of them that you know, need to know. You know, how to find the mature rutting buck, public nocturnal bucks on public land, something like that. And I have timing them, a course on timing them. I have a course on how to hunt the wind. I have a course on scouting and advanced scouting tactics. It's not doesn't cover basic tactics like, you know, what a deer trail is, what a rub is, stuff like that. It covers things that you need to know so that you can begin to put a plan together how to hunt, and how to. It actually covers how to gather the information from what you're seeing and putting it, you know, down to where you can actually make sense of it and start understanding it, and how to actually come up with a plan of how to go scouting and stuff. This area here is going to have to be scouted. Every area that you hunt needs to be scouted, and even when you're hunting, you need to be scouting all the time. And there's several different ways to scout that, you know, a lot of people overlook, and they don't consider it scouting, or they're not using it as scouting, things like that. So anyways, just recommend the courses, guys. They're good. They're going to really help you out. You know, and deer hunting is you're going to get what you put into it. It's like anything else. If you're willing to put in the work, time, and the money to learn the stuff, you're going to be a great deer hunter. You know, if you want to, you know, just be a, you know, if you don't want to put in the work and the time and effort, you know, you still have a lot of fun, but you're probably not going to have nearly the success as some guys that are really willing to study it and spend the time to really work on it, and, you know, spend some money and listen to, you know, and read books, listen to audios about it, watch online trainings, watch videos, things like that, and not so much, you know, what I call the celebrity deer hunting videos, but videos of how to get in and actually do the hunting. You're going to get what you put into it, guys. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was kind of lengthy, but this is Jacob Schmitt with deerhuntingschool.com. Check out deerhuntingschool.com for more tips, information, things like that on deer hunting. And have a good day. Bye-bye.